Hi everybody, welcome to episode 23. 1 week later. Sorry, I had some problems with my leg and I didn't want to aggravate it, so I paused all the recordings and kind of concentrate on recovery. So today, two things going to be different. First, I'm shooting inside because it finally got to the point of unbearable hotness outside. 13th of May, but you know, bad. And secondly, I will not be doing it in my usual, starting with the cats and stuff. So a little bit different because I'm recovering as well, and getting old sucks. So I'll not use my usual sword right now. I'll use this. It's actually heavier than that sword. So anywhere between 3 to 15 pounds. I don't recommend to go higher, I don't recommend to go lower. You want to feel the weight as you stretch out your arm. It doesn't have to be unbearable weight because you're not trying to build a muscle in a mass, you're trying to build up a little bit of agility and not the separation in the muscle. So, straight arm and do the slow pulses. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1. I'm going to shorten this because otherwise I'll be doing that for a while and I'll go out of breath and stuff. But you do it on both arms. What it does, it helps you to build a little bit of muscle in here without using much of the range in the house, right? And just kind of builds the isolation. So that's a very useful exercise. Don't go very, and if you need, you can use 2 hands for that. Right, just be mindful. So this is the only time I'll say keep your arms straight. So next very good exercise for the arms. So the next one, you go grab this. Hey, you lost me. So the next very good exercise is this. Same, almost straight arm. Just bend a little bit forward, like this, right? And just do those. Similar to the straight arm pulses, but you just do them out. Or you can do just those. In both arms. And you do them ideally until you're kind of super tired, or until you just couldn't push yourself any further. And if you couldn't get to the point, push yourself 2 more times. And again, it will build up some other things in your body. So it's another one. And then there's the third one that I recommend to do is the kettlebell dumbbells. So the third one. So remember all these exercises on the balance, right? We done this, we done this, we done this. If you miss those, so the idea is that you need to build up your balance. So one of the simple ones is to just kind of get yourself on your toes. And if you feel super comfortable, you can go and close your eyes or just walk around. So anyway, so that is slow, right? Just start it. So put your dumbbell down, stick your toes under it, and just do this. And it will require some of the balance, and it also, as you kind of raise your foot, will build up your muscles in your hips. And that is the toes. I done it also with the kettlebells. It's just kind of harder, but so this, I don't know if you can see it, probably not. So you bend your leg and just do those. It requires practicing the balance, but it also will build up your muscles and tone it up quite nicely. So don't have to go crazy. Right now my left leg, for example, giving me trouble. So I have to control it much more, and it doesn't want to go straight. Anyway, so it gives you an idea. So the next is obviously our cats. Right? When you're doing this in a house, just be careful by the surroundings, but essentially it's all the same. Right? You just have to be more mindful, but you still have to practice somewhere, so figure out the place in the house where you can safely do that without. You can do full ones, you know, I'm lucky enough to have enough space around me, but if you couldn't, even those will be great for you. Just be mindful if you're not doing this and this, so try to control your form a little bit. It doesn't matter when you exercise, you still want to do it. So the other thing you can do to save space in a house is to use one arm instead of two, because weirdly enough there's space. So the transitions from left to right and stopping in the middle. One arm strikes, right? One arm, second down if you like. These ones are the best thing you can do because they kind of combine together the strike and the block and everything. So that's why I'm kind of concentrating always on doing at least this three all the time. Because as long as you can do this three, you can do the rest. If these three are not right, then you kind of stop. If you feel fancy, you can get yourself a smaller sword that you probably, well, some of you collecting, I kind of have those as the father props, but they're quite useful to build up strength, and they would cool on the shelf, right? So and it helps, right? So, and with this, you also can play with the different ways to hold the sword, right? So normally with the bokken, we hold it like this. And let's see, yes, you just hold it like this. With this, you can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this. There are different ways, and they all have their kind of use and exercise, right? So you can play with it a bit more when it's there. So, but again, up to you. So back to the form. So this is the sound that you theoretically should hear. If you execute the proper strike, you wouldn't be able to hear it if you do it slow, right? But even in the average speed, you can still see it and hear it. Now if you go full speed, you obviously can hear it more, but the house is the perfect opportunity to also train in my favorite, bulk retreats, because the narrow corridors, the walls, giving you that peripheral push in, where you kind of very cognizant of not going too far. So doing those becomes very natural. And again, if you fancy, you can imagine yourself going through the dungeons and stuff. But, so now let's spend a little bit of time talking about my leg is funny. Talking about techniques, right? So the holding, just again annotation on this. Holding the proper hold of the bucket. Either this if you're right-handed, or this if you're left, or this if you prefer the left. You want to have as much space in here as possible, so when you operate your front, you kind of have 2 degrees around which you can rotate the sword, right? You can do it like this by moving the front arm, or you can do it like this if you need the faster movements with the shorter time to react. So you're fixating the front and you're using this. The only thing to remember is that when you fixate in the front, you're not holding it always like this. This is your hold. You literally hold it with the ring of your fingers, and the rest of them are just there to control it. If you want to force it in yourself and kind of feel, you can do the rotations like this, and it forces you to do that ring, because otherwise your arm goes funny, right? I mean, you can do it, notice the difference in how close I am or how far I am, especially in the arm that you're not using all that much. So this is the hold. Then as you strike, let's again review this, right? Your arms are kind of going into the arc, into all movements. The only thing that changes truly is the fact that the arc goes either in front of you or to the sides. Right? If you need to help yourself, you can twist the body, then you don't have that unnatural kind of, but then it becomes easier as you practice. That's why I'm always saying practice slow, because the slower you go, you don't have to go super slow, but the slower you go, easier it is to repeat, easier it is to analyze, easier it is to recognize that, oh, I got this way, I got this way. Listen to your muscle and listen to your body. It will actually tell you, because sword fight, art of sword, whatever you call it, is very flowy, very natural thing for the body. You never have anything that goes super against it. If it goes super against it, if it feels weird, then probably it is. And it's time to review what you're doing and find the right way to do it. So that covers almost everything in movements. Right. So the other things are the funky stances. So I'm going to go for them. Sorry. Right, so. Hi. So, what I'm going to do now is to practice a little bit, just in silence, because I haven't done it in a week, almost. Oh, apart from just very short ones. And I want to make sure that my body works right before I go more complex. But before I do that, the important part of any training is the stretch and the warm up and stuff. So these are great. these are fantastic because it gives you the joints and things, rotational ones. Be mindful if you have collarbone injury, it will go pop a little bit, so kind of, if you need to hold it, you hold it. If you feel fancy, you can do opposite direction rotations, and then you will do the same with the legs. Kind of basically just work out. The important bit is to how to stretch, right? So the stretches for the arms. So once you warm up your joints, right, you will do the stretches. So these ones are kind of easy, and everybody knows them. Grab the arms behind your back, and just pop it up a little bit. Try to hug yourself if you could. If you couldn't, then well, something to work on, but it's a good idea to do that. Just get a twist. So then you have to stretch your legs a little bit. It's weird because yes, we're doing sword fighting, you know, we're working primarily with the arms, so it looks, but the legs are actually very important. Hi. So in order to stretch on the floor, you obviously need to sit down and do stuff. So here we are on the floor. So the first one you want to do typically is just legs about 2 shoulders out, and kind of just warm up a little bit here. Put your arms on your kneecaps and just do this. If your knee's talking to you, they will talk to you. So after that, and you want to do that because it goes up. So do this. It's very hard to keep the lower foot on the ground for some people, especially if you had injuries, if you had torn muscles. Don't worry about it for now. So just notice that this is standing on the heel and kind of just bouncing in. What it will do, it will stretch this guy and this guy. You do that, and then you try to put it flat, and you try to put that guy flat, and you're kind of forcing yourself into more uncomfortable. If you couldn't, that's fine as well. Again, if you had injuries, if you had torn muscles, especially in here, because you know some of us were stupid when we were young, it almost never comes back. So do that, let it twist, and kind of just do this. So when you do that, make sure that there is enough space in here, and you'll fill, and kind of just lower yourself into it, and then balance a little bit. And then you do the same on a different leg. Again, you start with the heel, you go to the flat foot, and then you kind of straight it out a little bit and do this. If you feel fancy, so notice that I'm putting my weight in here, but you can also just go on the floor with the chest. Some yoga people will tell you to do it. I don't recommend to start from it. It's just personal experience again. Head torn muscles, not fancy doing it again. So as your legs will slide out a little bit, and they will, especially if you're doing it barefoot, just kind of let it, put yourself on the ground, and just let yourself stay there for a little bit. The longer you do it, more stretched you will be. Just be mindful that, you know, the cold muscles don't stretch very well. So ideally you do that once you warmed up a little bit. You stand like this. If you have problems with the knees, just be mindful of your back right now, and be mindful that these guys don't talk to you. If they do, just stop immediately. If they don't, you just walk out on arms and kind of lower your hips. I know, feels weird, but your body will thank you. And then you just kind of walk them back. Ta-da! Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you picked up bit of pieces from what I'm doing. I'll record more. Obviously I'm not stopping. So if you have ideas, just share with me. I know the Sword Experience starting to do the online training. Go there, go on the Patreon, support Adrian and his team. They're doing a good job, and you know, hope to see some of you on the Sword Experience events this year. Hopefully it will be open sometime this year, and we'll see each other and cross bookends and talk and stuff. Bye, stay safe guys.